Day 6. After more nights in the van, it's a long wait in the summer heat. In the end, Maulana Ghazi didn't surrender. His demands for free passage for himself, his followers and his family are rejected by the government. By now, the world's media have arrived to cover the siege. Over the next 2 days, students trickle out of the mosque, watched by parents, hoping against hope to see their children alive. But there are worrying rumors that women and children are being held hostage.
My daughter was there for 4 years. They shouldn't besmirch the madrasa like this. They have educated her, gave her food and looked after her. One should appreciate that.
I'm waiting for my 2 nieces. I think it was those 2. We will know in 10 minutes if it's them.
For the last 6 days, Fahim and his family have been stuck here, unable to go to work, listening to the battle day and night.
What are your plans? I've moved my family out yesterday. My mother, my sister, my niece. But today I think I might be moving out as well. The most frustrating thing and the most infuriating thing is, what about Islam? He's making a mockery of Islam. This is not Islam. And secondly, what about those kids? What did those kids do? Those students, those teachers. Yeah, if someone wants to have a fight, then come on, face the army then. Try it out.
But he's sort of saying that, I mean, you know, they're victims, that they're sort of fighting for their mujahideen and all of that.
Against other Muslims. I'm sorry, that's not the Quran I read. This is not the way, this is a political agenda.
He has made some demands in terms of he wants safe passage and security for him and his followers and his family.
Why would anyone want to shoot him? They need him alive, I think, not otherwise.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Good luck, take care. Bye.
Okay.
Some children have managed to escape from the madrasa.
This boy is just being dragged back and forth between the army saying, do the press conference over there. Now he's going back for the 3rd time. Here he is.
I came out at night around evening prayers, through the broken wall, and then the police picked me up from there. Inside they had guns and everything, and they said whoever would leave would be shot. So that's why nobody's leaving. There were mujahideen there. I saw bombs and Kalashnikovs.
Some relatives of the students are in despair. But for one, there's good news. The long wait is over, and he's been reunited with his niece.
There are 2,500 women inside. When my relatives called and said they had come, I came out. And when parents call, the girls are given permission to go out.
Daughter, can you please tell me who I can talk to inside?
Thank you.
The girl who has just come out has told me that my daughter is fine. Thank God. I am reassured.
On day 7, I get a call from the 313 committee of the madrasa and head out of the curfew zone to meet them. These students don't give their names, they call themselves by numbers. I meet number 20, 25 and 45, all in their early 20s and originally from Kashmir and Punjab.
Because of the tear gas, I fainted and an ambulance took me to the hospital. Otherwise, I would never have left my group and come out.
Can you tell us about conditions inside the madrasa?
After shooting began, the situation changed. Within 10-20 minutes, there were girls who had fainted and died. Inside, it was like Baghdad or Lebanon.
During the 3 days we were inside the madrasa, in front of us, 30 to 40 girls had become martyrs, and 30 to 40 men had become martyrs. We picked the bodies up with our own hands, and when it was announced that the assault had begun, the girls sat down and started writing their wills, telling their relatives that they will find their wills displayed inside the mosque.
How prepared militarily was the madrasas and the whole movement for what has happened?
We did not have illegal guns. When the government began its assault, then perhaps some friend of Maulana Ghazi may have given some guns. Also, some parents gave their guns to help defend their children.
And who are these friends, as you describe them, who gave guns to the male students with which to defend the mosque and the madrasa?
Look, we don't know anything about this.
So there weren't any foreign fighters inside the mosque?
Absolutely not. There were no foreign fighters inside the madrasa. We spent a lot of time learning Arabic, and just because we speak Arabic, that doesn't mean we are foreigners.
What do you all want for Pakistan?
We rose to protect Pakistan. We have never tried to harm Pakistan, nor are we harming it now, and, inshallah, we will never harm it in the future.
For the last 6 months, we have been saying that this country was built in the name of Islam. At that time, many sacrifices were made. As then, our brothers and sisters are making sacrifices, and blood is flowing in the Red Mosque. We say now, for God's sake, stop this sacrifice. Rid the country of its foulness and purify it.
But the army build-up around the Red Mosque complex continues, and there are last-ditch negotiations to find a peaceful end to the siege. Pakistan's religious parties and former Prime Minister Chaudhry Sujat Hussain both attempt to negotiate with Ghazi, but without success. He was determined to fight on.
Let's try Abdul Ghazi again.
On the 8th day of the siege of the Red Mosque, it seems that stalemate has been reached and the government has given up hope of a negotiated settlement. Military activity intensifies. The final assault on the Lal Masjid started at about 4 o'clock in the morning local time. It's now 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's 10 hours. Throughout the morning, there have been comments by the chief military spokesman, Major General Wahid. He has said that it's been very, very tough fighting with strong resistance from inside the mosque of a hardcore group of militants with Abdul Rashid Ghazi in the basement of the building. And he said also that there were a lot of women and children being held hostage, as he put it, by the militants.
He's inside and I'm outside. I'm either waiting for his body or him coming out alive. Whichever way, I'll get his body dead or alive.
His body will come out now. At least there will be a conclusion.
I've just heard in the last few minutes that Abdul Rashid Ghazi is dead and that Omaar Hassan and her daughter have been captured. And that's that. When the fighting was over and the dead had been removed, cameras were allowed in. Everything told a story of intense fighting and destruction. After 6 months, when the government was criticized for inaction, there is now a risk of divisions in the country. violent reprisals have begun in the northwest frontier province. The siege of the Red Mosque is a watershed in Pakistan's history, and it seems likely it will only harden divisions between the rich and the poor, between the religious and the secular elite. Ghazi, like his father before him, died a violent death here in the basement of the madrasa of the Red Mosque. Ghazi may be dead, but his legacy and that of his father survives, with his older brother and Omaar Hassan. The spate of attacks on military and political targets since the siege ended seems to suggest that this is the beginning of the story and not the end. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time on Witness.